guns to the heads of the people. That's how it survives. You have a strong military that puts a gun to the head, and you don't work, you die. And the people work. But will they do the work their hardest? No. They won't. This is why the communist countries were unable, in spite of the resources. Look at Russia. Compare Russia to America. In spite of the resources, America has no more resources than Russia, whether human or organic or, mineral resources. No, America does not have more than Russia. But Russia cannot compete commercially with America. Because people on the job site will only work as much as they are forced to work. In America, the harder you work, the more you can get. So people will work harder. And this is one of the basic reasons why that system failed. And this is one of the basic reasons why that system failed. So, this can be an introduction. And you can then go on to point out that in fact this system is against human nature. This is what it is. This system which is proposed is against the nature of man. Man's nature is in such a way you can't change it. It means that it has been set. And furthermore, you can also point out that the communist system is amoral, meaning it has no morals. According to them, what is right and good is what is beneficial to the proletariat, the working class, the masses of the working people. Whatever they agree on is good, this is good. Whatever they don't agree on, if they feel is bad, it's bad. So it means morals will change. What's good today can be bad tomorrow. See, there's no stability there. And in fact, there is no real morality. Because if morality is left to men, then corruption will spread throughout the land. If men are to decide what is good and bad. So the decision has to be from someone who has not got class interests or tribal interests or whatever interests. It has to be from the creator of man. So I'm just giving these as possible arguments which may be used to bring those people coming from a communist background around to start to reflect on other options. Right? I mean, we could spend the whole evening just discussing communism, but I just want to give you something from each of the systems. The second major group of atheists come from the capitalists. And the basis of atheism for them, both in capitalism as well as communism, lies in the evolutionary theory. So you can use this also along with the communists as well as along with the capitalists. You need to read up a little bit about the evolutionary theory to understand what it's trying to prove, what it's trying to show, and the weaknesses that lie in it. Because in fact, when one goes into it, one finds that it is a story, fiction, not science. That the evidence actually points to special creation and not evolution. So it's good for a person who's going to be involved in Dawah to be familiar with the theory of evolution, which is the justification that there is no need for God, used by both capitalists and communists. And then for the capitalists, he likes to promote democracy. This is the system which is governing this country and allows capitalism to function effectively, benefiting the society, etc., etc. Democracy. And we hear this term used all the time. America promotes itself as being the democracy, or the example of democracy in the world. However, if one were to question this democracy, first by looking at the origins of democracy, where this idea of democracy came from the Greeks. The Greeks, some, Plato and others, promoted this idea of democracy. However, in their society, democracy meant that the people would choose. Sounds something like communism too, isn't it? Where the people are the ones deciding what is good and what is evil. Similarly, democracy. In democracy, people will decide how they are going to be ruled. So in fact, they're deciding what is good and what is evil. So this is where communism and capitalism meet. Communism really is only a version of capitalism when you get into the essence of the thoughts that are involved in it. So the people choose the rules, the laws, etc. for the country. Now, in Greece, when this theory was purported, the majority of the population, over 50% of the population, were slaves who had no say. No say at all. They were non-entities. So what they were talking about was democracy for those who are free. What kind of democracy is this now? It's like the American Constitution, which is like people like to hold this up there. American Constitution. If you read the American Constitution, the original writing of the American Constitution stated that the Indian was 3/5 of a white man. You know, what kind of institution could that be? What kind of, constitution could that be? Where another whole race of mankind is classified as being 3/5 of the ruling race. So what kind of democracy could have gone on in America? It's the same kind of democracy that was going on in Greece. Then, okay, we look at the theory, the theory that the people decide. Now I say to the Democrat, whether he is a Republican or a Democrat, they're still both asking for democracy, or claiming that they have democracy, or promoting democracy. We ask the average man on the street, would you like free education? From kindergarten to PhD, you average man on the street. The average man on the street says, yes, sure, why not? I'd love to have free education. Now, if the average man on the street wants free education, why isn't there free education? If it's a democracy, right? The masses of the people are supposed to decide what they need. But it's not the case. Education is only for the rich. You can study up to high school, but after high school, to go into college in America, you've got to pay. And only those who have money can pay. So it means that those people who are poor will remain poor and get poorer.